Good afternoon, students. Today we are going to discuss very interesting chapter, that is a Pteridophyte. Dear students, today we are going to discuss about Pteridophyte and what is Pteridophyte and what are the general characteristics of Pteridophyte and the economic importance of Pteridophyte. So there are three topics that we are going to discuss today, right? Actually, what is Pteridophyte? Pteridophyte is a seedless plant. That means the plant never produces seeds. So hence it is known as a seedless cryptogames. Pteridophyte plant, it is nothing but it's seedless cryptogames, I can say. Cryptogames. So the entire plant kingdom is broadly divided into two types. They are pterogames and the cryptogames. So here, Pteridophyte comes under cryptogames because it never produces seeds, right? But it is the first true land plant. Pteridophyte, it is the first true land plants. I mean, true first vascular land plant, right? I can say true land plants. Previously, bryophytes and algae have been discussed in last class, and now we are going to continue plant kingdom that includes pteridophytes. Actually, pteridophyte, as I said, it's a seedless. I mean, it's a cryptogames. It produces no seeds, hence it is known as a cryptogames. But it is reported as a real true land plants that possess xylem and phloem. So here xylem is there and phloem, xylem and phloem. Or well developed in the matters of Pteridophyte. Here, as a title stands for Pteridophyte, here the P is a silence. My dear students, please understand. Here the pronunciation is Pteridophyte because P is a silence in mode, hence we have to pronounce Pteridophyte. It comes under Pteridophyte, right? Due to absence, due to the sound of phonetics, and Pteridophyte P is a silence in mode, right? Hence we can pronounce Pteridophyte. Okay, let's come to the point. Actually, these Pteridophyte member are true land vascular plants because due to the presence of these xylem and phloem are reported or well developed in the member, hence it is known as a vascular cryptogames. Vascular cryptogames, right? I can say Pteridophyte, it is also known as vascular cryptogames. Here you can expect which of the following is known as vascular cryptogames. Vascular cryptogame means vascular tissue is well developed and it does not produce any seeds, hence it is known as a vascular cryptogames. Pteridophytes, it is also known as vascular cryptogames, or it is also called as seedless cryptogames because it possesses a well-developed xylem and phloem, right? They are considered to be as vascular tissue. Xylem contains water, phloem contains food. So already these are two xylem and phloem which are conductive tissue that you have studied about in previous class, right? Okay, let's come to the point. When we talk about pteridophyte, actually, as I said, it is a true vascular plant, and the body of the plant is simply the body of the plant is you can say this is a plant that we are going to see, right? My dear students, we are going to discuss about these kinds of plants, right? So this is a pteridophytic plants which are categorized under different groups such as a club moss and a horsetail and a coil bats and waterfall and tree form. So there are different categories that are pteridophyte, right? So we are going to study about these members of pteridophytic plant, right? Okay. Next we pass on to what are the general characteristics of this category. My dear students, it is very interesting area. Next we pass on to what are the general characteristics of pteridophyte. Before that, I'd like to mention what is its origin. Actually, these pteridophytic members are originated just 400 million years ago. Right? 400 million years ago. And these members are originated in Devonian period, right? This limbo. Devonian period of Paleozoic era. So when you take a geological time scale, actually geological time scale is a scale that measures, that indicates the age of Earth, right? Now there is a geological scale that consists of mainly three eras, right? They are Paleozoic era, the first one, Paleozoic era, second one, Mesozoic era, third one. Here, third category is Cenozoic era. Here, there is a pteridophytic member were originated in Paleozoic era because it consists of several sub-epochs, sub-periods are there. So here you can see Devonian period. One of the period here, Devonian period. Actually, this Devonian period is nothing but the Earth was originated before 400 million years ago. During that time, these members of pteridophyte are being originated on the Earth's surface, right? So this is the origin and development of this pteridophytic member, right? Okay, as I said, the pteridophytic members, what are the general characters? So these members are originated just 400 million years ago. During that time, Devonian period is there. Actually, Devonian period, one of the period of Paleozoic era. During that time, these members are gradually originated and rapidly occupied throughout the world, right? So this is the nature of Devonian period of Paleozoic era, in which these pteridophytic members are originated, right? Okay, my dear students. Next, we pass on to what are the general characteristics of pteridophytes. What are the general characters? So what are the general characteristics of pteridophyte, my dear student? Actually, the plant body of pteridophyte is a sporophyte. It is a sporophyte. Actually, the sporophyte is a dominant one. Here, sporophyte is dominant. And the gametophyte is very short period. Hence, the sporophytic phase. So there are two phases that are taking place. One is the sporophytic phase, and another is the gametophytic phase. Among which a sporophyte is the dominant one because this is a 2n stage, right? It is a 2n stage, which is differentiated into the sporophyte is differentiated into the first one, root system, and the second one, shoot system, stem, and third one, it is differentiated as a well-developed organ, that is leaves. So, hence, the sporophyte is the dominant one, right? It is differentiated into a root system and a shoot system or a stem, and the third one is the leaf portion. Or talking about the root, actually root is a adventitious root. So the type of root is, my dear students, I'm talking about a root system. Actually, the type of root is the adventitious root. And the stem, generally stem is monopodial in nature. Stem is a monopodial. Monopodial and branched. It is monopodial and branched. Right? Monopodial condition and branching one. The next, leaf. So there are different types of leaves are there. It may be microphyllous leaves. The leaves are microphyllous. And or sometimes it may be megaphyllous. Microsphyllous and megaphyllous. Microsphyllous leaf or megasphyllous. Right, microsphyllous means the leaves are small in size, whereas the megaphyllous means the leaves are larger in size. I repeat it again. The nature of leaf in pteridophyte is simply the leaves are smaller in size, they are microphyllous, whereas megaphyllous means the leaves are large in size, right? Large size and shape of leaf is preserved. Okay, the next one. The sporangia. So sporangia, there are two types of sporangia. One is a microsporangia and another is a macrosporangia. Micro and macro, right? Microsporangia or microsporophyll, microsporangia. And one more thing is megasporangia. So both microsporangia and megasporangia, similar to that of androecium and the diatoecium, right? So simply, the sporangia, it is of generally two types. The first one, eusporangia. Eusporangia or eusporangiate. Sporangium, it is of two types. They are eusporangiate. Eusporangiate is nothing but a group of initial are responsible for the formation of sporangium, that is called eusporangia. Right, I can say a group of initial. A group of initial. A group of initial from which sporangium which arises. Whereas the leptosporangium, actually leptosporangium is a type of initial in which leptosporangiate. The sporangium which arises from a single initial. My dear student, it is easy to understand a single initial. So simply a single initial arises a sporangium that is called leptosporangium or leptosporangiate. Whereas a eusporangiate means a group of initial that arises a sporangium that is called eusporangiate. So sometimes here you can expect the question, write the difference between a eusporangiate and a leptosporangiate. It is as we got right. A group of initial gives rise to form sporangium that is called a eusporangium, whereas a single initial gives rise to form sporangium that is a leptosporangium. Right? Okay, next one, spore formation. So there are different kinds of spores are there in plant. My dear student, it is very interesting one to discuss. Spore. As I said, sporangium produces spore. Here there are two types of spore. The one is homospore. One is homospore. Homospore means presence of any one spore, right? Either microspore or megaspore. I'd like to draw the structure of sporophytic condition. Now, this is the plant where you find. If you take LS of the core that you find, right? This is a sporophyll in which if the spores are originated from the leaf-like structure that is called sporophyll. If it is originated from the sporophyll, all the spores are similar, whether microspore or megaspore. If it is microspore, they are called as anthridium. The microspore simply gives rise to form androzoites. Androzoites are nothing but it is a male gamete, it is a multiflagellate male gamete. So this is a spore where you see the spore, microspore. So on both sides of the core that arises similar type of spore, whether microspore or megaspore. This is also called as microspore. If it is known as a homospore, right? So heterospore means homospore, it is a reporter. In case of homospores are reported. I'd like to give an example. Lycopodium. Lycopodium. Any one type of spores are originated from the beneath of, simply I can say, a sporophyll, microsporophyll. Now this is called a microsporophyll. This microsporophyll is a leafy-like structure that gives rise to form sporangium. This is a microsporangium. This microsporangium that consists of microspore. It is a microsporangium. Microsporangium. So these microsporangium gives rise to a number of microspore. What are microspore? Microspore generally it is a haploid in condition. Microspore is a type of spore that germinates and develops into new organism, right? So that is called a microspore. It is to act as sometimes it is to act as a male gamete, right? Okay. And next to megaspore. Here you can say, like to draw one more cone, right? You can understand very clearly. Now this is a cone where you see the presence of two different spores. Here, microspore and megaspore. So the first one is a microspore, and the second one is megaspore. So both the presence of micro and megaspore, it is called a heterospore. My dear students, if the spores are similar, either presence of microspore or megaspore, that is called the homospore. Whereas the presence of both microspore and megaspore, this is called a megaspore, and it is known as simply, it is a microspore. So this presence of both micro and megaspore, that is called a heterospore. What is it called? Simply heterospore. Second time. I'm talking about second time, that is a heterospore. Heterospore. Hetero, two different. Spore means a formation of spore. So here you find two different spore. They are microspore and megaspore, which are formed in a same plant, right? That is called both antheridium and archegonium or originator, same plant. That is called the heterospore. Actually, heterospore is a reported in case of Selaginella. I'd like to give an example for heterospore. Selaginella. The Selaginella is a plant where you find heterospore. Now I am going to show you example of Lycopodium and Selaginella, right? My dear students, you can understand. This is a plant where you see, my dear students, you can understand. The first one is Eugosicum, the second one is a Selaginella plant, right? The Selaginella plant where you find, this is an example of heterospory, right? So heterospory is the origin for a development of seed formation. My dear students, Selaginella is plant in which the first seed was originated, right? So the Selaginella is the most primitive form, right? For origin and development of seed. I'm talking about seed development. So the Selaginella, which provides origin and development of seed, right? So the development of seed, it has been first to report the case of Selaginella. So Selaginella is a heterosporic plant because it possesses two different spores on the same plant, right? Heterospore. Okay. Next we pass on to the type of vascular tissue. As I said, vascular tissue is that vascular tissue is a food conducting tissue in which tracheids are water conducting tissue. Tracheids or water conducting tissue. It is needed for water conduction. So water conduction is taking place by the presence of tracheids, but very rarely vessels are also present. Here you can see vessels. What is the difference between trachea and vessel? So both the trachea and the vessels are chief water conducting element, but in different plants. Like tracheids are chief water conducting element in case of Pteridophyte, gymnosperm, whereas vessels are considered to be a chief water conducting element in only angiosperm, but especially I can say in Salaginella, there is a vessel. It is also reported as the water conducting tissue. It is found in Salaginella. My dear student, Salaginella, it is a pteridophytic plant in which water conduction is taken by simply the presence of vessel. So simply I can say vessel is a chief water conducting tissue in all the angiospermic group, but here it is also reported as a water conducting tissue in Salaginella. But generally, Salaginella belongs to pteridophytic category, but in which trachea must be there, but instead of trachea, here a vessel is specially formed for conduction of water, right? In case of Salaginella. So which of the following, here you can expect, my dear student, here you can expect a question, which of the following member of Pteridophyte consists of vessel for conduction of water? That is the question. If this has to get right, Salaginella. Salaginella belongs to dash category, that is a Pteridophyte category, right? Which of the following xylem element is a chief water conducting tissue in case of Salaginella? If it is asked, A trachea, B vessel, C xylem parenchyma, C xylem fiber. If it is right, vessel is a chief water conducting tissue in case of Salaginella, right? Okay, my dear students. And next we pass on to, as I said, the sporangium, it is up to. They are leptosporangium and use sporangium. One more thing I would like to mention, that is in meiosis, simply the microspore mother cell or sporangium mother cell, SMC means sporangia mother cell produces four, it undergoes meiosis cell division to form four gametes. Spore mother cell produces, it undergoes meiotic division to form four gametes. It is natural. And type of reproduction. Here there are three types of reproductions. One is a sexual, another is a asexual, third one is vegetative method. So first of all, let me take vegetative reproduction. Actually, vegetative reproduction takes place by means of the first category is of fragmentation. Second one is tuber formation or resting buds. Resting buds. And third one, tuber. And fourth one, adventitious buds. So, by this method, pteridophytic member may reproduce its next generation, right? I repeat it again. What are the vegetative method of reproduction are taking place in pteridophyte? First one is a fragmentation. Fragmentation means analysis is broken into fragment piece of form. Each fragment germinates into new organism. Second one, resting bud. Actually, resting bud which arises from the cone instead of a strugly cone is there, right? And sometimes reproduction takes place by means of a tuber, and sometimes vegetative reproduction takes place by means of adventitious buds. So these are all the methods of vegetative reproduction, right? Okay, next we're talking about the sexual method of reproduction. Generally, it is of oogamous type, right? Sexual method. I'm talking about mode of reproduction. That is a vegetative method. Second is a sexual method. Actually, the sexual method simply it is a oogamous type, right? Oogamous type. What do you mean by oogamous? Oogamous is a mode of sexual reproduction in which a fusion of male and female gamete, which are dissimilar in it, morphologically, physiologically, they are dissimilar. Now this is a male gamete, and let me draw the female gamete, right? It is a female gamete which are morphologically and physiologically dissimilar. My dear student, please understand, please imagine there are two different spores or two different gametes are involved. One is a male gamete and another one is a female gamete. So by the fusion of male and female gametes are physiologically, morphologically entirely different, right? So by fusion of this male and female to form zygote, then zygote develops into new organism. So this such a method is called as a oogamous type, right? So the type of reproduction sexual method is a oogamous, because male gamete is a smaller in size and the female gamete is very large in size. Both male and females are fused to form zygote, and zygote develops into new organism, right? By the method that is a oogamous method. And sometimes cones are there, struggling. Some cone-like structure. The cones are present, they are struggling. Strobilus or strobili, right? So this is a mode of reproduction in Pteridophyte member, right? My dear students, I am going to show you some pictures that you can understand, right? Here you can understand very clearly. As I said, this is a Pteridophyte member in which, as I said, it's a sporophytic member. This sporophyte is a dominant phase because it is differentiated into root, stem, leaf, etc. This is a plant where you see this portion is called the root system is there and the stem is there, leaves are there. Simply, the sporophyte is differentiated into root, stem, leaf, right? Or talking about leaf, microphyllous and the megaphyllous leaves, right? And the type of root is the adventitious roots, right? And stem is, I think, branched, sometimes some branched nature, and monopodial. The branching of stem is monopodial, right? So this is the branch that you see, right? My dear students. And next we must on to classification of pteridophytes. Classification of pteridophyte. My dear students, you can understand classification of pteridophyte. Here, according to Reimer, the year of 1954, according to him, the pteridophytic members are classified into following types, right? The first one is a Pteridophyta. Here P is a silent. Repeatedly I am saying Pteridophyta. Pteridophyta. It is one of the division of pteridophyte. Second one, Psilopsida. Repeatedly I am using Psilopsida instead of P. Here P is a silent. So Psilopsida. Third one, Lycopsida. I'm talking about subdivisions of pteridophyte. Third category, third subdivision is Lycopsida. Lycopsida. And fourth one, Sphenopsida. Sphenopsida. In last category, that is a Pteridophyta. My dear students, last one, Pteridophyta. So there are 5 subdivisions of Reimer classification. Reimer, one of the scientists who classified first. My dear students, pteridophytic members have been divided into 5 subdivisions. right? They are Xylophytopsida. Second one is Psilopsida. Third one Lycopsida. Fourth one is Spinopsida. And fifth one is Pteridophyte, right? And these member, the subdivisions encloses, right? 19 orders, my dear students. Please imagine, right? 19 orders and 48 families. My dear students, simply Reimer classification consists of 5 subdivision, and each division may consist of certain order. So totally Reimer classification that encloses 19 orders and 48 families. So this is a classification of Reimer. This classification was proposed in the year of 1954 by Reimer, right? Sometimes write about the Reimer's classification, right? It is asked to you, right? Definitely it is going to be asked by the student. Please understand. It is very easy to understand, right? So according to Reimer, protophytic members are broadly divided into 5 categories. The first places are Xylophytopsida, second is Psilopsida, third one Lycopsida, fourth one Spinopsida, fifth one is a Pteridophyte, right? Okay, my dear students, next we pass on the economic importance of protophyte. It is very interesting area to understand, my dear student. It is very interesting area, right? Economic importance. Economic importance. Economic importance of protophyte. So the first one is cut flower, right? That is the Rampora. Ramora adiantiformis. Simply, it is a cut flower, right? It is used for cut flower, right? So when we prepare bouquet or flower show, right? We can use the plant, right? I'm going to show you, my dear students, you can understand. This is a plant where you see, right? This cut flower is originally derived from the flowers of Ramora, right? Ramora adiantiformis. So this is a plant in which you can see the leafy portions are taken from Ramora adianti. Actually, it's an ornamental plant, right? It is an ornamental plant. So these plants leaves are used for making bouquets and flowers, right? Flower wash, right? Right. Next we pass on to another food plant. I'm talking about the food plants of Pteridophyte. Second one, some plants of Pteridophyte are used as a food. That is right, I can say Marsilia. This Marsilia is used as a food, right? Students, so please understand. You are going to learn different kinds of plants, right? This is a plant, Marsilia plant. It is generally grown in our area, right? You can see this type of plant, right? So the plants are used for edible purpose. The next, some plants of Pteridophytes are used as biofertilizer, right? It is Azolla pinnata. So biofertilizer. My dear students, please understand. I am going to give you an example for biofertilizer. Azolla. Now, Azolla is a plant, Pteridophytic plant, which is used as a biofertilizer. That means it is used for enriching minerals, nutrition in the soil, right? This is a plant where you see forming details, right? My dear student, this is a Azolla plant. These Azolla plants are used for enriching soil fertility, right? So widely it is used in the field of agriculture. So Azolla pinnata, right? Because these plants are utilized for fixing atmospheric nitrogen, right? With the help of these plants, the plants are able to yield higher quantity, right? So next we pass on to one more plant. That is a Decorative. So this is a Decorative flix mass. Decorative flix mass. It is a plant where it is used in the treatment of tapeworm, right, my dear students? So this is a Decorative. Flix. Flix mass. So it is also used for the treatment of tapeworm, right? And one more plant I'm going to show you, that is a Pteridophyte. It is very interesting plant. Pteridophyte. Actually, these plants are used for removal of heavy metal in the soil, right? My dear students, so you can understand the soil in which it is very interesting. Pteridophyte. Sure, please silent. Pteridophyte. Actually, these plants are used for removal of heavy metals in soil, right? Particularly, I can say for bioremediation. So simply I can say removal of heavy metal in soil, removal of heavy metal. Right, so this is by the plant that is called the Pteridophyte. Why these plants are used for removal of heavy metal in the soil particles, right? My dear students, it is very interesting session, right? The next plant, that is a pteridium. Actually, this pteridium is these plants are used for dyeing plant, bring dyes, right? My dear students, you can understand that it is used for extraction of dye, right? Dyeing plants that you can see. My dear students, you can understand this type of green dye is extracted from some pteridophyte, right? Mostly in textile industry, the dye is utilized. The dye is used in textile industry, my dear students. Okay. The next one, scoring, right? That is a ecosystem. Actually, ecosystem is nothing but it is used for scoring rush, horse tail. Which of the following plant is called as a horse tail? My dear students, please understand it is a ecosystem plant. Ecosystem. Ecosystem. It is also known as a horse tail. Horse tail, right? And it is also used for extraction of scoring, stem scoring. So this is the economic importance, right? Of ecosystem, horse tail. The picture that shows ecosystem plant, right? Because its stem is used for scoring purpose, right? The next plant is some ornamental plants. I'm going to show you, my dear students. These plants are used for decorative purpose. I'm talking about this is an ornamental plants. Very students, I'm talking about ornamental plants. Ornamental plants of Pteridophytes. Here I can say the first plant is a Lycopodium. So there are 5 plants are there. My dear student, please understand. Xylotom, right? Both Xylotom and Lycopodium, which are similar in size, right? It is a Xylotom. Viscophore, which of the following is known as a viscophore, right? In 8 point of view, you can expect which of the following pteridophytic member is a viscophore, right? Second one. Lycopodium plant, right? It is also grown for a decorative purpose, my dear students. It is also grown for decorative purpose. It can be grown in pot or even pot, my dear students. The name of the plant is Lycopodium. The first one is a Xylotom. The first plant is a Xylotom. Second one, Lycopodium, is the Lycopodium. Second plant is the Lycopodium, right? And third one, the third plant is Selaginella. It is a plant. It is also grown for ornamental purpose, right? What do you mean by ornamental plants? The plants are grown for decorative purpose in the garden of food, decoration, etc., right? This is also Angioteris vita, not Selaginella. It shows the resemblance like a Selaginella, but it's not a Selaginella. It is also grown in Angioteris vita. Here I can say Angioteris, right? This is an Angioteris, one of the ornament, right? And next one more plant I'm going to show you. So these are the economic importance of Pteridophyte. I repeat once again, there are many plants out there, but some plants are just I collected from the net, right? From the internet. I wanted to show some plants to you, right? Oh, thank you for joining, my dear students. I would like to just review once again to you. I repeat once again. Actually, pteridophytes are nothing more. They are the plants or seedless plant, right? The seedless plants are they don't have any seed, but they have well developed xylem on the phloem, right? Hence, they are vascular cryptogates. It is originated in Devonian period, just 400 million years ago. It's a Devonian period of Paleozoic era. And what are the general character? Actually, the sporophyte is the dominant phase. It is a different root, stem, and leaf. And root is adventitious, and the stem is a monopodial branching. Leaf is a microspillous megaphyllus is there. And the sporangium, there are two. Eusporangiate and leptosporangium. Eusporangium means sporangium arises from the group of initial, whereas the leptosporangium means sporangium arises from the single initial. Types of spore: homospore, heterospore. Heterospores are the means the presence of two spore, whereas the homospore means the presence of either male or female, or antheridium or orchigonium, right? All the spores are there, and the water containing element is truncate, and rarely vessels are present, but vessel is characterized in case of Zalaginella. And as I said, the antheridium and the orchigonium, both the antheridium and the orchigonium are a male reproductive organ, and the orchigonium are a female reproductive organ, right? That we have already discussed, my students. The next classification of pteridophytes, actually, the Reimer classified pteridophyte into the following types. So they are Xylomenopsida, Xylopsida, Lycopsida, already we have discussed. And economic importance, Ramora, Deformis, this is cut floss, food for Marsilia, biofertilizer, etc. Right? So thank you for joining, my dear students. Just I would like to give only one question, right? Write about the economic importance of pteridophytes. And one more question I am going to give you. Write the classification of pteridophyte. Students, would you like to ask anything regarding the topic? Students, did you understand today? Dear students, did you understand today?
Yes, sir. Understand, sir.
Understood, sir.
You mentioned the period of Paleozoic era in which pteridophytes are originated.
400 million years.
400 million years ago.
400 million years.
You mentioned the period. There are a number of
Devonian period. Paleozoic era.
right. Then what do you understand about the homospore?
They produce only one spore.
That's kindly requested to answer one by one. No
Sir, I can't hear your voice, sir.
Okay, no problem. And what do you understand about the leptosporangiate or eusporangiate?
Leptosporangiate. Development of single initial, sir.
Very good. Eusporangiate means development of
Group
Single
Initials, sir. Of initial.
Developed from group of initials.
Very good. No problem. And could you mention the subdivisions of Reimer classification? Here we have discussed a number of Pteridophyte. How many subdivisions are there?
5 subdivisions.
There are 5 subdivisions, sir.
There are 5 subdivisions.
Students, please give the mic, please, then answer one by one, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
did you understand about economic importance of pteridophyte? Ramora. Mostly the leaves of these plants are used for making cookies, right?
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Plants are pteridophyte.
Mansilia.
Arcelium.
It's named the biofertilizer of pteridophyte.
Azola.
Azola, sir.
Thank you.